A sign of the changed reality in Kashmir. Just a few years ago, standing at this very spot would have been suicidal. In those ridges behind me are Pakistani observation points, and this stretch of National Highway 1A, the lifeline between Srinagar and Leh, comes under their direct line of fire. And during the Kargil War, they used to pick off targets, trucks and vehicles passing by this stretch. To move up and down this stretch of National Highway 1A just short of Kargil often meant travelling at night at great speeds with your headlights switched off.
रात के टाइम लाइट बंद करके आना पड़ता है। लाइट बंद करके क्योंकि अगर हम लाइट जलाएगा वो तो सीधा टारगेट करते हैं लाइट हम गाड़ी को लाइट बंद करके पड़ता है। बहुत से गाड़ियों का एक्सीडेंट हो गया, वो ड्राइवर मारा गया।
Many of us were just fledgling journalists back in 1999, excited at the prospect of covering war, but totally unprepared for what we saw.
What you heard just now were Bofors guns directly firing right on top of Tiger Hills, the prelude to perhaps the final assault on Tiger Hills, which is expected to begin in just a few hours.
Through those traumatic months, places like Dras and Kargil became home for us. As people moved out, we moved in, never entirely sure if the artillery shells we could hear and actually see on occasion would have our names on it. This part of the Batalik sector where I am sitting right now was actually where the Pakistani burst just a short while back. In fact, even now they are continuing to shell this region looking for the forward posts which have been formed here. We heard a shell going up just a short while ago. Looking at the terrain behind me indicates just why the fight here has been so difficult. Climbing up these rocky faces would, at the best of times, have been very difficult. With somebody sitting up there shooting down... The stories we brought you were authentic first-hand reports of a battle happening just a short distance away. Dras is all about being in the line of fire. Behind me was once a temple. This was destroyed by artillery shelling from across the line of control. But this situation is changing. The army says that the situation is improving. As a result of removing the intruders from the highest posts, the army says that people are returning to this area. Dras will once again have a population.
They're going to target directly on top of Tiger Hills, and the role they play is to saturate the targets on top of Tiger Hills by dumping a very large amount of explosives onto the targets in a very short duration of time.
This was war with a human face. The soldiers we spoke to were the same men to fight the enemy. Arjun Ray was the man behind the media campaign. He came up with what the army called MPRUs, or Mobile Public Relations Units, essentially a permit system to take select journalists to places where they could see firsthand what was happening. If the reports were negative, Ray could have lost his job.
I also worked out arrangements as to how we could improve the cooperation between the army and between the media. And I never had any problems on this particular count. And another feature of our media plan was that whenever a journalist came back, even if he was from an international agency, I always debriefed them to get a feedback on what problems they faced, on what was their opinion of what was happening at the combat, in the combat zone. And I think such like deviations from standard methods of dealing with media paid off extremely well. And I think the other very important thing I would like to underscore is that I found that our media was extremely responsible. We had a few odd glitches here and there, but I think on a scale of 10, I would say 9.5, the Indian media was credible, they were extremely responsible, and therefore there was no requirement for us to debar them from moving into particular areas. There was no requirement for us to censor what they were saying, and there was no requirement to patronize patronize these correspondents who were going up to report on what was happening. And I think we trusted them and they trusted us.
But if Ray was controlling the media campaign, the people most affected were men like Colonel V.N. Thapar, for whom every moment of the war felt like a lifetime. Like thousands of other families out there whose sons and daughters were fighting for the country, Colonel Thapar knew that he may never see his son again. Today, though, the Colonel is a proud man. His son may be gone, but Vijayan Thapar, like so many others, earned the respect of the nation.
The spirit which won the day in Kargil is quite evident in my son's last letter, which he wrote 2 hours before he left for the attack. I'll read it out. Dearest Papa, Mama, Birdie and Granny, by the time you get this letter, I'll be observing you all from the sky, enjoying the hospitality of Apsaras. I have no regrets. In fact, even if I become a human again, I will join the army and fight for my nation. If you can, please come and see where the Indian Army fought for your tomorrow. As far as the unit is concerned, the new chap should be told about this sacrifice. I hope my photo will be kept in the A Company, Mandir with Karni Mata. Whatever organ can be taken should be done.
Great Battles, brought to you by Speed, the high-performance petrol from Bharat Petroleum.
The Indian Army offers great opportunities for women too. You can take up the challenge of short service commission and prove to the world that when it comes to courage and leadership, you're second to none. Women officers receive training at OTA Chennai.
The Indian Army. Do you have it in you?